Good evening. For midterm, I wanted to clean up a lot of the level, go through the light maps that I was missing on the models so that I wasn't getting those weird artifacting shadows that you might have seen in the last video. So if I show you, let's bring over the content browser and go to buildings. And it is static mesh building 02. And so there was a change in how UDK and Unreal handles collisions, and I've yet to go on over the tutorial or see how they do it. But you can see the collision box is going around it, and I actually had a real collision from 3ds Max that was tight against it, and then it no longer is working based off of naming conventions. I'm not really sure. So you can see that the collision is on and off, and it automatically did it. But we'll go to UV, and you can see this is my UV layout for channel 1, or it's channel 0 in Unreal, channel 1 in 3ds Max, and channel 2 or channel 1 will be the light map. This is what's used for the lighting, how Unreal handles it when it's, based off of everything. And what it really matters is that there's no overlay or overlapping. So you can have any kind of object or same material. And if we looked at one, you can see that I do have overlapping going on. I think this is like the long wall right here, and then this is the short wall on the ends, and then both end caps for this side of the building is right there. So that would be that one, and then there was a discrepancy, or I'm not really sure what's going on, but if I showed you a little bit more, so just to play around and give you a idea of what's going on with this material on this building. Now, I can't remember if it's because I have multiple objects and that's why it's giving me multiple IDs for textures or materials that I can put onto it, but we can go ahead and play around with it to the point that, say if I wanted, now it's going to update over on the right side, or it should. Let's take collision off. Throw that, really? Okay. Okay, so you can see that it went on the roof. And that's element 1. We'll do this one. So that's the bottom. I don't know where that one is. Okay, so element 3 is our sides, which we'll change over to that. And then we'll do tile onto number 2. Alright, and you can't do any of the UV tiling options that you might see in Unreal or UDK, so I can't change anything. And this is just a rough base on how material is going to be handling on the base mesh, and this is a placeholder, so none of it really matters, but it does help to give you a sense of what's going on. And I can just keep on adding these things so that you can at least see something more than, how a material might lay out onto your mesh. And now you see how all of them have been updated that were in here, right? So let's go to unlit so you might be able to see a little more. Yeah. So all these buildings were updated. Alright, so we go back to the content, back to my folder, and we're looking for my blind. Oh, there. Material I like using because it has a checker, but yet it's ceramic tile. So we'll just throw that on all of it, which is what the rest of the buildings were. So it's going to match with a few. Alright, so we can zoom out and you can see how it's now updated. And it's nice and clean, shows a checker pattern. And this is how your UV will look. This is pretty good scale right here. But then up on the roof, because it's smaller in my UV here, it's larger in the texture. So I just made sure that I got all the UVs done there. And then I also was working on my pier. Take a look at lit. And I can say, honestly say that I failed at doing this this rope. If I showed you the unwrap on it, it is just horrendous. And I gotta find out how to do a proper rope so that I can get that in there and then have a little bit of rope hanging down off the pillars and then to the pillars and then have some fishnets also. The fishnets won't be bad because that's just string and easy rope that could be done, but the rope texture going around in a circle and whatnot was just kicking my rear. And then I've had a few other problems. The camera was no longer working correctly. So right now I can pan around and move, and when my character moves, right now I'm using no mouse button down, and I can kind of turn the camera, what's going on, and you can see how it's focused. It's working correctly. And if I hold down right click, it's pretty much the same thing. Well, the bugs disconnected the mouse, disconnected the camera, and then wasn't working at all together. So the other part that I wanted to explain is the design on the piers is going to be the really big one, along with the city that I'll be putting up there just for the layout. The pier, I wanted to make some small like fishing shacks that, you know, the poor man fisherman is living. So this is just a rough outline, and I don't think I can get, okay, here. So I wanted to show that, you know, there's real support underneath it, and if you ever get to go in the water, you'll see that. And then I wanted to get it to the point that it looked like, because it's a poor man's place, it's not properly supported, or, you know, it's just makeshift. So the other part I was working on, and this is the part of the end, and I'll show you that in Max. I got a couple pieces and doing the unwraps and the light sources for that. As you can see, I got a scaling issue. And I realized that, I think it was a couple hours ago, and then I lost some info and I had to start over. But it's really easy. So, oh yeah, there we go. So these items didn't have collisions, and Unreal instantly put a collision on it, and now I can't pass through it like the doorway should be. But after, you know, like I get my entire inn situated, or I rescale it in 3ds Max, I just go back in here, scale it down, and it's really simple. So then it's done, we'll save it, we'll play it. Voila. So it's getting closer to the size that I need. A little more though. And if I really wanted to, I could go to content browser, go to character, and let's try. Oh, I think I could put this one. No, these are blueprints. Prototype character. I know I could put that guy out. Alright. Now he's placed, and that's a good scale to see where I should be at. Alright, so that's where I'm at in Unreal, along with just clearing out the errors that I get every time I do a build. We'll go to max. And this is what I have here. And this is something old that you guys saw. So I think it's actually this one. When you export, you have to go to your 0 plane 000 on XYZ within the program that you're using. So when you import it to Unreal, it comes in as the middle or the pivot point of what you have for the item. So if I took this guy right here, and he doesn't have an unwrap at the moment. Did I do that? Yeah. Oh, so I had these 10 done right here, from here to here, and those I lost. I was like, well, I guess I could start all over, and I had all the light maps done, and it's not too big of a difference or a pain. It's just that you got to go through it all again. So we'll just do this really quick. Looks like I had something extra. Yeah. Alright, and then let's grab this. Alright. And I believe this should be it. So open the UV up and we can pack it real quick so it all fits in. Flip it, go to vert, turn my snap on. And this is when I was talking about overlaying the objects that I don't really need, and we can just focus. So it's a little hard to see, so we'll remove the texture so it's gray. And the ones that are getting the most attention is the ones that we want the biggest. So we'll take those two guys, and you can see that we can probably increase it quite a bit. This is the header on the top of the entire wall. And I'll scale you up right about there, see. Good enough. And that was large enough that we don't have to mess around with it. And there's some space that is still there. Nothing to worry about though. Throw that there. Let's see what. Touching him up to the left a little bit. Same with him. And then we want to take that guy, we'll rotate it. can get a little bit. Now this is a side and it's not going to get a lot of attention. It actually gets hidden, or it will be hidden most of the time. So that's why I can stay small and in the corner. Alright, so that's the real basic UV that I do for that. And then we want to go save. This is building medium frame. So it's saved, and we go to channel 2. This is where we're doing the light. We want to abandon it. We could actually move on that one, but it don't matter. So now we're kind of exactly at the start of it, and it doesn't matter. Flatten it. So now this is the flatten. There's no overlays. There's no, I can't remember what Maya calls it. But everything's flattened out by itself, so it can accept a light exactly the way it's supposed to. And that's channel 2. And then once that's done, we just move back down to 1. We abandon that one, and if I open up the editor, you can see that it's now back again. Well, we'll reload the medium frame of what I had before, and that's it. Close it off. Take a look at the move tool, and we'll zero this out. So now I'm over here. Now I just export it. Ooh, actually. So door frame building medium frame. Okay. So let's grab that name one. Export it. Selected. Boom. Done. Okay. Unreal. Content. Come up. We'll go to my project. And then building. Import. Medium. Import all. And there it is. So now we have that there. We'll go back to the content browser material. And this is what I'm just using as a base. Boom. It's wood. It's good. Now I'm going to move it off onto a screen so you can't see that, but I'm just grabbing it real quick to drop it into game, and you can see it's pretty much the process that I've been going through. Alright. Except for, and that's the original scale that it was at. Woo! Big wall. Alright. Well, that's what my midterm was, and I will be continuing working on the light maps, the piers, the fishing things, this inn building, and then also be working on the lighting to get the mood set. And these buildings, I hope to get a feeling for. If you wanted to take a look, it would be kind of like Portland, Maine, but back in the 1800s. So thanks, and have a good night.